we go to stage 2 of the 7 stages, get qualified. How did you get qualified to become a world-class coach and trainer and speaker? Because that's a process. That was a new channel for you, a new lane.
I spent 2 years doing it for free.
There it is.
I was invited to everything. They were big. They were small. They were, I've had the worst introductions known to mankind.
How many times has your name been butchered?
Oh, I butchered that. I get this. Welcome to our event. Our beloved Mary, who's been with the company for 22 years, had a heart attack this morning. Yeah. She died. Yeah. It's devastating. We're all devastated. Please welcome Brian Buffini. Get in line. So, I had a guy one time that his company, he was 8,000 people in the auditorium, and every time he mentioned his company's name, 8,000 people stood up and booed. And they hated him. They hated the company. And he's doing the introduction. I'm like, okay, thank you, Charles, the man who did for introductions what botulism did for canned food. And so, you have to, what are you willing to go through? Yeah, and I did it, and I did it, and I did it. And then here's what I found. I found I could be authentically myself, that I had my gifts matched up with people's needs. And then I found a way to do it in a way that would honor them, myself, and my own family. And I think, it is hard work. What you're asking of people is hard. Yeah. But what's harder, let me tell you, what's hard is hating what you do every single day. I owe, so after work I go. What I think is working in an environment that's contrary to your values every single day. Yeah. And I see this all the time, and people get into the have to. Yeah. And so you're asking people to do something difficult. But let me say this, when you're suffering and sacrificing for that which you believe in, that's what you're aligned with your gifts, that's what's aligned with the breadcrumbs of the experience of your past. There's nothing like it. Yeah. There's nothing like it. And again, we've talked about this. Solomon, who was one of the wealthiest men who ever lived, said if you had a roof over your head, enough food to eat, and you love the work that you do, that person can't tell the passing of one day to the next.
It's true. And
that is when I felt like a kid in school. You'd be off for 3 months. And when I'm doing the work, like my wife will all the time, when I'm doing it, I go, what day is today? Is today Tuesday? Oh, no, Brian, it's Friday. Yeah. Like you miss it by 3 days.
I got to tell you something. This is fun that you said that, because I did not experience that, folks, until I stepped into this role 4 years ago. I'm telling you, the days go by so unbelievably fast. The team will tell you, I have a mentality that I'm just hour to hour. Yeah. Because, I am so engaged. Yeah. In the work. There is something that I've got to be focused on, and I'm telling you, quitting time comes around here and I go, what happened? Yeah. I thought it was 9:30. Yeah. Alex is smiling. He knows. He sees my schedule. And it's not a schedule where I'm like, oh, it's a schedule where I'm like, yeah.
Right.
And that's the reality.
But here's the other side of this, okay? I'm not going to out your age here, anything else.
I don't mind. You can tell everybody.
Okay, this didn't happen overnight.
No.
And you were involved in work that was very engaging for everybody else to see.
Oh, sure.
The whole time. You had other people's dream job. Mm-hmm. And you're grinding along and doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it. And you were getting closer. Yeah. You were getting closer till then you got to it. Yeah. And that's why I actually think where you're at now, this new book, I interviewed you the other day, and I was telling my brother Dermot, who's the CEO of our company, I said, I've interviewed, I don't know how many hundreds of authors. And I said, I interviewed Ken the other day. And I go, it's kind of a shame nowadays you interview an author, I'm not sure they know what's in their book. Mm-hmm. And this was coming out your pores, man. And it was just coming out your pores. And I go, this is the sweet spot has gotten sweeter and sweeter. Yeah. And I think even for, like I say, your own example is a great example for people to encourage them. It didn't happen overnight.
No.
You kept grinding it. And even when things were good, the enemy of the best is the good. Mm-hmm. And even when it was good, you didn't settle for good. You've kept pushing. And now you're right there in the best. And I think it's good stuff.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. And the only comment I would say to that is that when you live it long enough, you don't have to reference a page in your book to answer a question. It's like, well, this is what I believe. And the reason I believe it is I got some experience behind it. You don't have to believe it, but I know it. Right. And I think that's the key. And this leads me, it's a beautiful transition to, so you start the process, you get out there, 2 years of volunteering, you get good at it, and you realize, wait a second, I've got a gift, and I'm also seeing results, and then I've got this thing over here, a track record where I'm actually really good at selling houses. Yeah. I'm going to help other people do it, and now we sit today and we go, Buffini and Company, and I listed some of the stats. We're talking global, exponential influence. But I want to speak practically. People are watching right now. A lot of people are going to watch this later too. And they're thinking, okay, I know real estate's in my sweet spot. I want to do it for all of my reasons, and I want to win big. What does Buffini and Company do for those people? And then, two-part question, take it and run. Why is the coaching that you and I do on a daily basis so vital to anybody in any profession?
Well, it's never. I don't know if there's an industry where it's more glaring what the differences are.
Right.
I think if people knew the actual numbers, they probably wouldn't get into real estate in the first place. I mean, first of all, people come up to you all the time. I'm getting into real estate. Why do you like real estate? I like houses. I just love houses, and I love people.
Yeah.
I love people, and I love houses. Oh, okay. Well, that's because you haven't had any clients yet. Okay, right. So that's going to change for you. So loving houses and loving people doesn't make you a realtor.
No.
Being a trusted advisor, that takes work. Mm-hmm. Here's some stats, okay? So 1 out of every 8 homes that's sold in America is sold through our clients. 1 out of every 7 in Canada. Wow. In places like South Africa, you get your license, you have to take the Buffini training to sell real estate.
No kidding.
Okay, so we know our numbers back and forwards. We're the only company ever partnered with the National Association of Realtors. So they have 1.5 million members, right? So you talk about a growth industry, 150,000 people got into real estate this year.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get in. The average, here's the stats. The average realtor in the business less than 2 years last year made $8,500 in gross commissions before expenses. $8,500.
Wow.
The turnover rate in real estate is 87% every 5 years.
Wow.
So am I talking you out of it yet? Anybody excited yet?
Yeah, I was
the motivational speaker.
I was going to say, this is not a painting I expected to see.
No. But here's the thing. This is where we live.
Yeah.
And we live in the reality because people think I got in the business, I got my license, first thing they do is buy a car they don't need.
Yep.
I need a brand new 4-door car or whatever else. And then they go out and they get in the business because they don't understand the industry they got into. That actually helping people sell the homes is like the dessert.
Yep.
Lead generation, cultivating the lead, serving the client, going through that process. That's where the whole thing is. Yeah. So for example, I'll contrast it. It's training and coaching. We try to train people first and then coach them.
Yes.
So we built a training program called 100 Days to Greatness. So in 100 days, it's kind of like the Navy SEAL training for a realtor.
Yeah.
During that time, the program we just brought out last January, averaged 6 transactions in the first 100 days.
Wow.
So they're making around $60,000 in their first 100 days, and they're trained as a realtor. Our average new agent makes $112,000, which is a nice start. Now the progression from then, Ken, $112,000 they typically get in the coaching. Our average, 25,000 people make $368,000.
Wow.
People who've been with us 10 years make $518,000, and people who've been with us 15 years make $719,000. When the average person is making $8,500 who's in the business for 2 years. So here's what I'm going to say to you. If you're going to get into this business, you need to get in. Yeah. You don't stick, I got a license. My Aunt Mary has a license. I got a license. I have a license to kill. What you have a license to do is kill your own business, kill your own finances, kill your own marriage. A license is nothing. So there are licensees, and then there are real estate professionals. You have to get trained. San Diego's a huge Navy base. It's got the Navy SEALs are based there in Virginia Beach. The Navy SEALs, the commander of the Navy SEALs says, in combat, you don't fall, you fall to the level of your training.
Yeah.
And so you have to become trained. You have to learn. And then when you have something going, then we coach you.
Yeah.
And so that's the process for me. Where my passion comes from, why am I so jacked? Here's the thing. I should be on the golf course.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
done.
You do not have to work.
I've been flying around for decades, okay? My passion is this. I was the guy that had the bills on his mantelpiece, that had the iron bar in his leg, that had the creditors calling, and I still remember those days. I have talked, you do 2,000 seminars. At the end of the seminar, up comes the lady. Yeah. My husband left me. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. I haven't worked outside the home, and I got into real estate. I've heard that story 1,000 times. Yeah. And my passion comes from, I know the pain of that. I know the pain of the lack of income. I know the pain of insecurity. Like when you're in real estate, you only get paid. Think about this. You only get paid if you're 100% successful. You go to the doctor, you feel a little icky. Doctor goes, okay, take this. 2 days later, still feeling icky. Doc gets paid. Prescription got paid. In real estate, we only get paid if we heal you. 100% success rate. Imagine you're a baseball player. You only get paid for hits.
Yeah.
We subtract every time you miss. So in real estate, you only get paid for 100% success. The second thing is the income comes in ebbs and flows. It's not every 2 weeks, not the 15th and the 1st. It's not. So you have these peaks and valleys. So you have to understand that there's the job of real estate, but there's the business of being a real estate professional. You got to be trained. You got to know the business. You got to know how to generate a customer. You got to know that. And if you generate enough customers, you can do the job, make the money, do a great job, then pour yourself into the people, get referrals. Yeah. And next thing you know, you got renewable streams of revenue. And then here's the payoff. Now, here's the other side of the Darth Vader story that I began. The greatest thing about being in real estate is you eventually create the surplus to actually buy the product you sell.
Yes.
And the reason I was able to go into the speaking business is that I owned 47 pieces of real estate.
Right.
And over the years, all I did was pay those buggers off. Yep. So I got a chance when my wife says, honey, you need to go do this.
You could do it.
And I didn't need to make a dime.
That's it.
And I didn't need to compromise my values. And so many people who are in the speaking business, they do a 4-hour seminar, be a 4-hour sales pitch. Mm-hmm. I do 2 hours and 16 minutes. And at 4 minutes, I'd say, hey, I'll be in town in 2 months if you want to come see me. The average salesperson was making 8% sales. We were selling 42%. Then I'd come back in a couple of months and we'd do our event. The average person would sell 4% of the audience, the coaching. We'd sell 32%. Why? Value, give. And we didn't need their money. Yeah. And so when you do the right things for the right in a sequence, you can eventually make those kinds of decisions. You know, when you were here, right here in this table right now, you had taken care of business. You had your finances in place. You had your home taken care of, your family. So when you took the risk to go to the next level, you had the foundation to go do that.
So good. Now you know why I love him. He is Brian Buffini, Buffini & Company. If this is hitting you and you need the coaching, and folks, what you just heard was a master answer on how to get qualified and get qualified the right way, and then what is the benefit of getting qualified the right way.